Um,
Speaking of the remakes, what are you feeling about remakes in general? Because
hmm?
looking
Oh,
at
yeah.
looking at this year, I think this is like it's the most amount of remakes that has ever been announced in the history of gaming, and it makes me really sad because I think the higher echelons of the gaming industry are completely creatively bankrupt at this point.
Agree.
Because
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think there's
Yeah.
like over 10 remakes announced this year alone.
Damn.
And half of
So,
them are not even remake. They you've seen Horizon Zero Dawn.
mm-hmm.
You've heard about that? It's
Yep.
getting
Yeah,
remade.
I've heard about it. Oh, it came out what? Like, it came out like last
Yeah,
Tuesday. Why the fuck does it need a
it's they're
remake?
remaking it. Yeah, they're remaking it.
What?
The Last of
Okay.
Us, The Last of Us, which is
Oh, that's
PS4 gen,
ridiculous.
PS4. It came out on PS4, PS3, and PS4. I think they're remaking it.
Again, yeah. People are very. I've seen divided opinions on The Last of Us because a lot of people love at least the first game. I've seen people love the first game. Second one is a bit more divisive because of things that happen, obviously. But it still feels weird to have that one getting remade again and again so quickly. I'm surprised it wouldn't just get like re-released, but I've talked about this a bit this year. Um, along with like remakes and things. I am so tired of games not being made available to purchase anymore and only being available through like
Yeah, you're just
subscription.
renting them. You're just renting them
Yes, you're
essentially.
not allowed to own things anymore. They don't want you to own things anymore, and they can
Yeah,
take it
you're
away
just
from you
renting
like
them.
that.
Yep.
They can just take it away. They can just like
Yep.
tomorrow they can wake up and be like, yeah, you can't have this anymore. You can have the other things, but you can't have that. It's gone
I'm
now.
just glad that so far Steam hasn't done it, which is
Mm-hmm.
something I'm glad for because a lot of
Oh.
gaming companies kind of banned me. I can't buy their stuff anymore,
Mm-hmm.
but I can at least keep the games. They haven't removed it from my library. I can still play those games.
That still sucks. That sucks so hard.
The only as far as remakes are concerned, I love the idea of remakes. I'm just disappointed that it's like misused so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, if let's say Spyro would have gotten a remake, the original game, like everything
did.
improved. It did. Crash Bandicoot got. Those are proper remakes. Those are games that came out on the PS1. They had sure they had some clunky mechanics. You can improve them for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what if they remake Fallout 1 and 2? A big pushback from the games, like why a lot of people don't want to play it, is because they don't like the mechanics of it. They don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like the top down. They don't like how the combat style. It's not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't like that sort of gameplay, so they just watch lore recaps
Yeah.
instead of playing it. But
Yeah.
what if it was remade? That's a remake I can get behind.
I think about that a lot too. And I know, so you've got like the two camps. You got some people who are like, well, if you remake it, but keep the same mechanics. But I actually really would like to see the take of like, I forget what the genre is called when it's like open world wandering around rather than the top down.
Ubisoft? I mean, that's literally Ubisoft genre at this point. Every single Ubisoft game has it.
No. But like, yeah, it would be interesting to see it.
It's open world RPG light FPS
Yes.
strategy game.
Yes. Um,
There's no genre name. I just call it Ubisoft games at this point.
I feel like they'd have to make more content though, I think. Maybe because some of it wouldn't transition very well. Like, like the overworld map, because you have to like click on things and random encounters happen. Like, they'd have to change that to like
Yeah,
a
they
set
would have
map.
to actually create the map. It's
Yeah.
gonna require a lot of work, but I still feel it could work really well.
Me too. I definitely feel like it could. And not to, I'm not allowed to bet. But I can feel myself wanting to place a wager like right now, but I really shouldn't. But in the next 20 years, I say it's happening in the next 20 years. It'll happen. I think it will. remake of Fallout 1 and 2.
You know, even if it would suck, I would still play it. I mean, if Bethesda does it, it will probably suck. They'll probably gut all the good things out of it and replace it with microtransactions.
No.
I would still play it. My love for Fallout 4 is strong enough to, I mean, unless Obsidian gets their hands on it. Oh, that would be good. I mean, Obsidian is in talks right now with Microsoft about maybe making another Fallout game. Maybe.
I've heard that. Do you... Okay, I have a lot of people who come into my chat and ask me if I want a New Vegas 2. Would you want a New Vegas 2, or would you want a new, like, Fallout something, like, something new? Just Fallout, not necessarily New Vegas, but Fallout new
but
thing.
made by Obsidian.
But made by Obsidian. What would you want? Would you
honestly
want New Vegas or the other one?
I don't care all that much. I think they'll do a terrific job. If it's West Coast, sure, I wouldn't mind West Coast again. I mean, it's Obsidian's territory, even if it's not really set. I mean, if it's not centered around New Vegas this time, because I mean, first of all, you gotta deal. You'll probably upset some people who will be like, "Yeah, but I wanted the Legion to win. Yeah, I wanted independent New Vegas," because they'll have to pick one canon.
Yeah, they'll have to.
One of the endings will have to be a canon, and that's just something that not Bethesda, like Fallout in general, never did. They never explained which ending was canon.
I can call it now. House would not be canon because the voice actor has passed away.
I mean, it'll definitely not be. I mean, at this point, technology, they can just use his voice from voice lines. They can do that.
Maybe, but I feel like personally, I feel like they wouldn't have him because he gets killed in too many of the endings, and I don't see his ending as like the most popular one. I did like House though. Like, even though he's an asshole and I don't agree with everything, he's fun as a character. I like him as a character. What was I gonna say?
I mean, there's also Central America. They never explored it that much, except that one game that we will never mention and talk about.
Still haven't played it.
I've not played it. I've just heard really, really bad things about it.
Would you ever play it? Would you ever like to check it out?
Fallout Tactics, I think it was called, right? Or Brotherhood of Steel. I don't know. I might check it out at some point.
I do have Tactics as
just
well,
out of curiosity.
So I haven't touched Tactics, and I haven't touched 76.
Although what people told me, if you want something in Central America, just play Wasteland instead.
Huh?
Another series of games, not Fallout related, but it was actually made by a few guys who worked on the original Fallout. So it's top-down, turn-based shooter, in post-apocalypse, nuclear apocalypse, robots. It's wacky. It's actually a really interesting game. I recommend it. It's very fun. And perk system, you can create your own character. It's very Fallout-esque. That's the proper name, I'll say. Very Fallout-esque. You got your own companions. You can make squads. You can make companions. Lots of moral choices floating around. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not
like you can smell the Fallout out of Wasteland. You can smell the Fallout on it.
Absolutely.
That Fallout musk.
Yup. See you a mile away.